Hey, this is Leslie with Comfortable Shoes Studio. Welcome to vlog number 20, Hard Labels. So normally in these videos, I take you on a little walk. And, fortunately, I made a choice yesterday to go and visit my friend Dade, who you would know from the RSVP podcast. He and I used to do that together. And so I hung out with Dade instead of going for my walk. And I was not feeling well on Saturday. So one of the things that I've noticed post COVID is that anything that normally makes me a little tired um, makes me absolutely exhausted post COVID. I ate something that I normally have a mild reaction to. I kind of unthinkingly ate oatmeal, which normally just I kind of feel crappy afterwards. Um, but I felt terrible for the entire day. Also, was not in my diet plan, so I was, not watching my diet as well as I normally do, and snacked on something I shouldn't have had. So I did not get my walk in on Saturday because I felt awful. Um, and then made the choice yesterday to go and visit a friend because I think, in addition to physical health, mental health is um, also impacted by seeing people, being social. And I know that during COVID for me, not just being the illness, but like lockdown and things like that, I haven't been able to see as many people as I normally would. I'm not the most social person in the whole world, but I definitely know that things I'm not as social as I used to be, and I definitely noticed post lockdown and not being able to see people. I definitely look forward to seeing people way more than I used to. So instead of taking you for a walk, I take you outside to shovel my sidewalks, um, which was a pretty good physical activity. It's something that I'm not particularly fond of. Shoveling sidewalks is not fun, but here I am doing it. So the other thing is, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to safely get in my walk because it is switched over to rain, freezing rain here. And as you will notice, I'm out shoveling, but neither of my closest neighbors are out shoveling, and that is a problem in my neighborhood. Um, those two landlords do shovel um, for the people who live there, um, but up and down the streets here, most of the landlords put that onto the residents of their buildings, and they don't do it. So, and that's a consistent problem where there aren't businesses in my city, is that sidewalks just aren't cleared. A lot of the businesses don't bother to clear all of their sidewalks either. So, a lot of people in my city will just walk in the street or in the bike lanes because those are plowed by the city. So anyway, but that's not what I wanted to talk about today. Today I wanted to explore the idea of labels and if they are in fact helpful or not helpful. And this came up because in one of my videos I asked the question about something and asked, is that even art journaling? And someone pushed back and was like, does that matter? And it made me really think. Like I've always seen a distinction between art journaling, scrapbooking, or scrapbooking with paint, which I think is kind of a subset of scrapbooking. Um, and then there's also the sort of art journaling where it's more of a finished art piece. And I think sometimes when I say that I art journal, people expect, or there's an expectation of what an art journal is. And I think that's where things get messy in terms of labels. So for me, my art journal is a thing that I use to kind of process my thoughts and feelings. My art journals are messy. They're not completed artworks. I look at completed art as a separate entity for my art journal, and art journal is a place where I certainly work out ideas about art and art pieces and things that I might want to do in an artwork. But I don't necessarily finish do finished artwork in my page. I do in my art journals. I do look at ideas and techniques and explore them. And I think for me, my art journals are often somewhere between a journal and a sketchbook, because I'm working out all of those like mental ideas, but also the physical art tool properties in the art journal. Um, so I think for me, saying like this is what my art journal is helpful. For me, creating a hard definition of what art journal means to me is important. And I think that idea of what an art journal is individual, because everyone is going to use their art journal perhaps a little differently than I do, and I think that's okay. I know sometimes I will say, oh, that's just a scrapbook with paint, and it comes across as a little disparaging, but I don't mean it in a disparaging way. I mean it in a, well, that to me is not necessarily an art journal, and I think it's that idea of like creating a finished page is not what an art journal is to me. I think certainly, you get to a point with a page in an art journal where you see it as finished, but I'm never looking at that as a finished art piece. Um, if that makes sense. I think there's a distinction there. And I'm not sure that's necessarily a distinction that everybody needs. To me, that helps my creativity because I'm looking at my art journal as a place where I'm always working and I'm always exploring. It's not a finished entity or place for finished art, which allows me to be more free in my art journal. Whereas in a sketchbook, I might do things a little more finished because I'm still working out ideas in a sketchbook, but it's a very specific way of using a tool, because I'm driving towards an end goal of a finished art piece. So I think the answer to the question of are hard labels helpful is sometimes, and for some people, but not everyone. I know for myself, like, yeah, sometimes a hard label is absolutely helpful, and on other occasions, no, it's not. I find it limiting and not particularly helpful. Um, so I hope this kind of exploration helps people kind of think about like, all right, well, what is my art journal for me? I know that when I am looking up content for kind of learning more ideas about art journaling or tools, I know that I'm looking for different styles of art journaling. So I know, if I'm looking up art journaling, um, I'm looking up specific ideas or around art journaling. I'm not necessarily looking for someone who does finished creative pages in their art journal. I'm looking for inspirational things where people are kind of exploring things in their art journal, or they're exploring different media in their art journal. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm not looking for that scrapbooky style. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that's not what I'm looking for. And I know a lot of people use scrapbooking technique. Hell, I use scrapbooking techniques in my art journal, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just typically not what I am looking for inspirational type things in my art journal. Anyway, thank you for watching. And it was kind of a boring video type thing. It's me shoveling off my sidewalk and my driveway and cleaning off the car. Speaking of which, if you don't have a snow broom and you live in a snowy area, get one. They're the best thing for clearing off your car ever. So anyway, thank you for watching. If there's anything you'd like me to explore, a Q&A type thing, hit it down in the comments. Leave me a little comment, and I will try and do a Q&A at some point. Also, for those of you who've hit the Amazon wishlist, thank you so much. I got some new videos to make about things that I've gotten on the wishlist, so thank you for that. Thank you for everyone who has gone to Ko-fi and supported me. I appreciate it so much more than you will ever know. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye.
God, I hate the snow.